Hello everybody, Eric with OzoneTCG here. Today we're taking a look at one of Sean's replays with the Tearlaments Therion deck versus Swordsoul Tenyi. As you guys can see, we actually are finished moving. Got my studio set up, so we will have a lot more Yugioh content. I know there's just Pokemon stuff in the background. I personally collect Pokemon stuff. All the specialty cards you guys can see from the different Pokemon sets. I really like the way they look. I also have some Pokemon posters as well from official game stores. We're eventually going to get some Yugioh stuff in here. That's for a later time, though. We're still kind of setting up, just making sure everything's here. But enough about the studio and some of the updates we're doing with OzoneTCG. Let's get into the actual video. So Sean is going first here. He's going to activate Perlareno, adding, looks like Shiren here. Now, the names aren't updated here, but we do have, of course, all the translations. Of course, Power of the Elements is legal by the time you guys see this video. So he's going to activate Reno-Heart, and that will be met with nothing because the Swordsoul player only has the double triple tactics talents, Yugioh and Moye, so pretty strong start, honestly. Really depends on that draw, though. I think he can play through most of this interruption. It really depends on what Sean mills here. So he's going to mill Merly and Reno-Heart to get Kit Kalos. Really good card, kind of insane. And I think he's going to add Suyek or Hafenis here. I'm not sure which quite yet. Maybe even Merly just to get the mill 8. If I were him, I would do the mill 8 as well. He's going to send Kit Kalos as an effect, and then summon Merly from the hand to mill 8 total. Usually I would go Chainlink 1 Kit Kalos, Chainlink 2 Merly, just in case they try and ash one of them. You'd rather have more. I think that's going to be always the optimal play. I don't really think there's a situation where you do the reverse, but there might be, I'm not sure. And then of course he mills Havnis and 3 Therion names, including the best one to mill, Reaper, Regulus plus Reaper. You're probably in a really good situation here. No Endless Engine or Gyro System, but he does have the Colosseum as that, so I mean this just does so much. The fact that he has Regulus already, didn't even need to use Colosseum to search it, so you can still get potentially destroy on the next turn. It's really good here. This is really strong here. Garura summoning this turn 1 plus Merly. I'm certain Sean is going to go for a Sprite Elf here to get another 3 mills in the opponent's turn and get a draw. This is really, really strong. This is probably one of the best openings as far as going first plays here. So Garura doesn't really matter except for the fusion requirements. 2 monsters with the same type attribute but different names. The fact that it can draw one if sent to the graveyard, not just by card effect but as cost if you send it for Link Fusion, Xyz material, anything like that. Even though it's only once per turn, that just doesn't matter. The card's just insane. I don't think it's busted. I just think it's a really, really strong card, and Sean is going for the Sprite Elf. So again, this is the interaction. I think this card will be standard in Tearlaments probably by next month, no later than October, I would say. I think every Tearlaments deck should be playing this card because of the interaction with Merly. Getting Havnis plus Merly is really strong. And being able to protect some of your big monsters, such as Dragostapelia, from targeting, such as from Forbidden Chalice, is also very, very strong. We'll have to see how the Swordsoul player plays around all of this. Yeah, this is just a really strong opening. And then Irregular, the fact that it's also a dark monster, it's a dark machine as opposed to a dark earth that can be used for Mud Dragon of the Swamp, which will come up, maybe not in this game, but just over the course of matches for you Tearlaments players, it will come up. So Shiren's going to go ahead and send Lilyboria. He does get the R-Gyro system, really strong. I would probably go Bull here. He's going to go for regular. Okay, that's fine too. The interaction with Bull is that it can target Reno-Heart in the graveyard. I don't think you really play any other warriors that I can think of offhand, but the Reno-Heart interaction will come up at some point. So, okay, because he wants to get both Lilyboria and Bull, which is cool, so he's going to send Bull for another Disc Colosseum to use. Next turn, he does play Duke Jewel, or excuse me, Yule, I guess in the TCG, I believe. For next turn, that can interact with Time Thief for Doer because it's a sidekick, and then of course all your other Therion cards. So this is really strong here. I don't think the Shiren matters too much other than protecting against Nibiru. Swordsoul Tenyi player draws Ashina. I think Swordsoul is still a good pick. Overall, I don't think it's a bad deck. I just don't think it's nearly as good as Sprite or Tearlaments, and coming from someone who loves this deck, I've tried to max, hollow, complete max rarity out. Swordsoul, love the deck. I just don't think it's good right now. So this is actually where it comes up. So you actually can't target Regulus with Elf. Yeah, Sean makes a distinction here. So the only thing you can really negate here is Elf or Shyren. You will never target Shyren in this case. You can only do Elf. If you try and target Elf, you go Merle. So, the one downside for this card is that it can't be used as link material. It just doesn't matter. Card's busted. Seriously, as long as it remains illegal, I think this is one of the link cards, one of maybe 3 link cards printed in the last 4 years that probably shouldn't have been printed. If you're gonna play Sprite Elf, honestly, is the reason. Not even totally awesome. Just the fact that it can recur any level 2, link 2, rank 2 monster in the game. Really strong. It's completely generic too. Yeah. So he's gonna go Havnus, Chainlink 1, Reinoheart, Chainlink 2. Reinoheart will pitch Reinoheart, and Havnus will probably go. Maybe he's gonna go Kaleido Heart. I could see that. Cycle Merlin in the graveyard. Or maybe he's just going Kick Close. Oh, he's gonna go Kick Close to get Havnus in case, because he clears the board. Not really sure what the interaction here is. I guess a regular can bounce one of the Therions. So that's pretty good. Tactics will come up here in a second, but Regulus might just end up negating that anyway. Especially when Moye go from there. Yeah, still a really strong opening. Oh, so he's gonna go to the Kaleido Heart here. Okay, that makes sense. So Kaleido Heart, even if you are using Reinoheart that was summoned from the graveyard by its own effect, you can still banish it, and it'll still resolve properly. So even though you're not technically shuffling all the cards at the bottom of the deck, placing them in any order, you can still use a Reinoheart that's supposed to be banished as the fusion material. Let's see. No, never mind, he's just going Dragostapelia. Okay, that's cool. Yep. That's really strong too. Yeah, because your Regulus here, if he hasn't used it already, yeah. So it is, it negates the effect and not the activation, so you cannot activate another triple attack silence. I don't really see what he can do here. He's going to, yeah, Dragostapelia. Because at this point you go still Chixiao Chainlink 1, Moye Chainlink 2 that lose on your Ecclesia though. I don't think that's really worth it. I don't know why you would really use Ecclesia here. I don't see a use for it. So Taya has nothing. I guess if you crash Moye, that just doesn't do anything, because it would get bounced by Reaper's effect. That is the idea. Honestly, I think it just kind of game from here, and I think the Swordsoul player realizes that at this point that there's just no real reason to continue the game. I guess we'll see. So, and also the cool interaction with this Coliseum is that it protects your Tearlaments from being destroyed by battle. Not just your Tearlaments, any monster. In this case, we really try and use it for the Tearlaments cards. There's the concession there, of course. But so this Coliseum, good at preventing your vulnerable Tearlaments monsters from being destroyed, so they can't just go like battle phase to play around your Celiac or Meta Noise. And then if you destroy a monster by battle, say they have 1800 attack or whatever, Shyren versus, I don't know, Taya in this case, you will protect your Shyren and then add a Therion card from the graveyard. It's kind of nutty. Really cool interaction. You can send and then add it, whatever card you just milled, Therion monster specifically. So, game 2, not really sure. Okay, Swordsoul player is going to go first, 44 cards, and Sean draws Red Reboot, DD Crow, Vessel, Moye. Pretty good opening hand from the Swordsoul player. I think this version of Tier is just going for gas and just a bunch of really powerful cards to play, like Red Reboot. I think the card's going to be standard though, like still in the side deck. But really, you don't care about having too many hand drops besides DD Crow. And DD Crow, I think it's fine to play in an all gas deck. especially this one because you can still use it as fusion material at the very worst. So it's not really bad against any deck except like Fluwandereeze, and that's about it. Maybe Exo Sister, but I'm not going to be building. I wouldn't build around either of those two decks. Even though Exo Sister is like supposed to be a counter, I just don't think it matters here. Same with Sword Soul. It's fine here in this matchup. I just don't think it does enough versus those decks, but you don't really need to worry about them. So he's gonna go Basha, and this is the Chao Feng play. If there were an easy way to get to a Dark Lock Chao Feng, that would be way better. It is possible with Danglong for Ying Zing, but not right here, not a TCG, unfortunately. But locking your opponent out of dark monster effects would be quite powerful. Glad to see that we don't have Protoss as well, otherwise Sword Soul would still be a deck to compete. And I think that's the only thing that would keep it in the metagame right now. Otherwise, just for right now, unfortunately, it's not really playable as far as the good kind of decks. So Sean did save the Havness for here, has Master Change to Dark Ruler no more, and Regulus has this Coliseum in the hand. So at worst, he's going to trade with Chi-Shao or whatever. Probably add Bull to trade with that, and then just start swinging over monsters, honestly. Get that, Instant Fusion. This is kind of crazy. This is a really good hand. And Blackout trades like okay. It's going to trigger the opponent's Tearlaments monsters. The Imperm is pretty good here, though. Not sure if there's a good way to play around it. Yeah, ooh, that's really strong. The Long Yuan. Get that. Qixing Long Yuan. This card is really good versus Therions because this, if you banish it with Qixing Long Yuan, of course you don't get the effect. So he's going to activate Instant Fusion. I know he has this. I don't think he would necessarily use Qixing Long Yuan on Kikolo's effect. Probably just use Chi-Shao. Just to get rid of that Chi-Shao, force that. But he is using it, okay. That works too. Also, to play around Havness, I guess he really doesn't care though, because he gets just so much right now. But the trap cards actually just won't matter in this case, so really he just has to play around another Qixing Long Yuan and Chi-Shao. I don't know if this hand necessarily is going to play around, just because you can't really do anything if he negates with that. Okay, but he does get Merly. Okay, so bait out. You can't do anything here with Chi-Shao. Nothing real, that is. This is light locked. I don't think there are any. Yeah, there are no good light fusions that the deck plays. At least not this version. So he's going to use Merly effect. And it's met with Crow. Very good card to get here. This Coliseum. I guess you could go. Yeah, I don't really know what you can do here. Maybe Dark. That's about it, though. So I think Sean might concede at this point. I wouldn't necessarily play this out, simply because there's just not a whole lot you can do here, but maybe Sean sees another option here just to play around Qixing Long Yuan. So he's not afraid, of course, of Impermanence or Blackout because he has the Red Reboot, and he'll only pay 2,300 life points because he is at 46 currently. Just getting Crow. Oh, he might go for... no, I don't think he's going to go... Yeah, so we're going to go Chi-Shao. Contest that Crash. Go, I don't know. Havness? No, I don't think it'd even go Havness there. Okay, interesting. He was going to go Battle Phase. He's probably going to crash into Chi-Shao, I would imagine. Don't crash into Chao Feng if you're in this situation. Chao Feng can activate its effect. Don't think there are any Dark tuners that they really play. Or, excuse me, Dark... let's see, what is it? Dark Worms, I guess. You could go Vishuda. I think that's all they play, though. So he's going Havness, okay. I think he's going to chain Havness to, yep, Qixing Long Yuan. Yep, that's really good. Havness mills are going to have to be God tier here, just to compete. Reinoheart, unfortunately, is not enough, yeah, so game 3. From there, and I think Sean's going first. Okay, there we go. Good opening from here, and Droplet. I would not play this card in Sword Soul. Just don't think this card does enough at all, but not having multiple names is going to be an issue. Even just having Baron, it just doesn't do enough. Vicious of the Gnomes. This card is really good right now. Yeah. This card is really nice versus something like Swordsoul. Even though they can modulate their levels with Emergence, it's really hard to actually use that effect unless you have Taya. So he's going to go Kitkalos, Chainlink 1, and add whatever he wants. He also has Meta Noise. He might get Merly here. Yeah, he's probably just going to do the mill 8, especially if he gets a Therion monster. That'll be really strong. Okay, Random Heart. So go that Chainlink 1. I would probably go Chainlink 1, Kitkalos, Chainlink 2, Random Heart, but that might not always be correct. I'm not sure. So he's going Kitkalos, Chainlink 1. Okay. No. He's going Kit 2. Okay. He wants to see what he gets first and then go from there. Does not really get any good mills from that, but that's okay. He sells Reno Heart's mill. Merly effect. Bushido does trade very well with the Tearlaments cards because you can just bounce whatever you want. That is quite good. Dragostapelia, okay, cool. Meta Noise. Meta Noise is very strong here as well, even if Dragostapelia is negated, that's fine too. And then Sean's making good use of endless engine or gyro system. I'll probably go, yeah, because you can still target your aqua monsters because this card is an aqua. Fun fact. You're not gonna use it this turn, but that's another interaction that's really cool. Swordsoul Emergence is quite a good card. Yeah, Mischief of the Gnomes. This card's really good because you can banish it from the graveyard to reduce levels. So really good against Sprite and just a good card to mill, good card to draw because it does the exact same thing twice over. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to play this, so it's going to reduce it to a 5 and a 6. So you can still go level 11. I don't really think they play any level 11s though. Same with the tokens. Let's see. Tokens won't matter. I guess you can go 5 to a 9, so Chow Feng. 4 plus, yeah, so you can still get to it. It makes it awkward too. Gonna go Ashana. He's gonna book this. So the way these cards work, yeah, it just won't even matter. So he has the out for Meta Noise. You don't send. It's gonna just negate Dragostapelia, of course. I think he's gonna Ash here. Really strong Ash, so he has to have a normal summon. In this case, I think he's just gonna go for maybe Baron, destroy Disc Coliseum, and then attack over like Dragostapelia. That's still not great though. This is going to be really hard because he didn't have a normal summon. He had to rely on Emergence. Oh, he can't even go to Baron, never mind, because it's level 5. That is correct. Okay. So just Chow Feng. So we still can get to Chi Xiao, I guess, get to a normal summon. It's not the worst. Another interesting card that's kind of like Mischief of the Gnomes is, I think, Mischief of the Yokai. I think it does the same thing, but I think it might increase the levels by 1. I'm not actually positive. These cards are both really old cards. Mischief of the Gnomes was last played, from what I remember, in Burning Abyss because it reduced level of Burning Abyss monsters to 2 in the hand, or if they're on the field, whatever. Anything like that. Really cool card that just hasn't seen a reprint or anything like that. Okay, so Mischief of the Yokai is 2. Not quite the same thing. You can target a face-up monster, reduce level by 1. Okay. This card's like okay. I just think Mischief of the Gnomes is much better. Again, especially in this deck. And the fact that you can use Gnomes twice in the same turn. Yeah, so you're just going to go Chi Xiao, Blackout, pass. Blackout does not do enough, unfortunately. Now, if it banished, or if Swordsoul gets a card that banishes, even if it's like tribute a worm, even as cost, banish a card on the field, or banish even a card the opponent controls, that would be really good support. Because there are ways to use that in the deck. But I think Sean just has it here. This is really hard to play around, play through. He does have to be a little bit awkward with Reno Heart and Hobness. So that would be a little bit hard to play. Yeah, so he's just going to go directly to Battle Phase. Attack into that, protect his monster. Mill Regulus, Reaper. So he's going to go. That would be the optimal thing to do here. In this case, the Swordsoul player is going to destroy both. Don't do that. You trigger everything. Reno Heart. Card's insane. To be honest, I mean that's it just does so much. It contests so much. All of the Tearlament cards, the fact that they all fusion summon and they have the same effect besides Reno Heart, the main deck monsters, or you can make them fusion summon in some way. That's one of the reasons why I play this deck and why I do play this deck personally. I do like playing this over Sprite because it does require a little bit more skill expression in both deck building and technical play. You do have to be pretty good to actually pilot this deck well. If you do pilot it well, it does reward you quite a bit. This is one of the cases where there's just a lot to do. So Chisho, go kick Kalos. Which is probably fine. Go Coliseum. Because you can like a Reaper Link Summon for whatever you want, and then get like Regulus. That's an option too. Another thing to consider is Iria the Water Charmer. Not just for Swordsoul, that doesn't really matter, but for the mirror to revive their Reno Heart. Or if they're playing the Therion version, there's a possibility too. He's just going to go Dragostapelia here, though. Wait, not Dragostapelia. Yeah. Garura to dig more. If they came out with a Winged Beast Therion, I think it'd be just insane. That'd be really cool. I don't know what we're going to get for Therion support after Darkwing Blast, because I don't think they have anything in there. Because I think they're trying to wrap up Albaz lore. I know Albaz lore is going to end sometime next year, I think. Just from the trends of previous sets, but really cool to see. This card's just so good. I'm glad they printed it. Makes the mirrors a little bit more against skill expressive compared to the OCG, and having Super Poly actually does matter now because they can't really contest that unless they're going for Kaleido Heart. Let's see here. Garura. So he's just tributing that, get that. Okay, destroy. Cool, get Reaper. Recycle, pull for the next turn, bounce normal summon or token, whatever you want. And then still has Havness in the hand. Really good draw, actually. I think that just single-handedly won him the game, honestly. Yeah, because you can't really do anything here. And the reason is, activate long in effect. Okay, pitch Ashna. Okay, cool. Summon the token. Resolution, bounce the token. You can't really do anything from there. I think because he didn't draw a normal summon, that is going to be the game. You can do that. I just don't see a reason to, because you can just bounce Monk, and then he has one card in hand. Like, what's the worst it could be is Tayo or Emergence. Still has a negate for that. So I would bounce the card here. Yep, and Sean is going to do the correct play. Absolutely, just pass turn here. So the Swordsoul Tenyi player is banking on him not having anything. Unfortunately, Sean does have stuff. Unfortunately, he has just the Reaper. However, you can go into something like Dark the Dark Charmer and be able to get Regulus or Bull or anything like that. Those are options. He doesn't have Argyro in the graveyard, which is cool. And I don't think you need that card, so he does see that play. Yep. See that play exactly. Again, this is not game. This does put Sean significantly ahead, even giving up that Hobness. So that's that. Yep, Imperm doesn't do anything, and that is the match right there from the draw. Unfortunate that the Swordsoul Tenyi player did not have a normal summon at all because of emergence, you know, not really resolving or getting to anything from there. I think both players played this really well, though. This was a good showcase of how both decks are adapting to the format. Again, I would put my bets on playing Tearlaments, any variant really. I don't think there's a I think there are meme variants. I just think the Tearlament cards just do too much. So again, pick them up if you haven't already. This is the deck to buy eventually for the long term. If you're again, if you guys have seen the guide, if you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh for the rest of 2022 at all, make sure you pick up Tearlaments. They will eventually be the best deck. Either with the Ishizu variant, or once you get that November, or afterwards in Darkwing Blast. Eric with OzoneTCG, guys. Thank you as always for watching.